Hey there, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Zen Mind Peaceful Life. If you're a Cancer, or you have strong Cancer influences in your chart, then listen closely, because June is shaping up to be a month that will shake your emotional world. Have you been feeling this strange tug at your heartstrings lately, like the past is whispering to you, calling old memories, relationships, or family stories back into your present? Well, that's no coincidence. As an astrologer who's studied the deep emotional currents of Cancer for years, I can tell you this: June's cosmic energies are triggering something profound in your chart, something that will force you to face parts of your past you may have thought were long buried. And here's the big question: will you survive this emotional storm? Or will you let it overwhelm you? In today's video, we'll unpack exactly why your past is coming back to you now, what kinds of emotional challenges you might face, and most importantly, how you can turn this intense energy into an opportunity for healing and growth. If you want to navigate June with peace and power, you're in the right place. Before we dive deep, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon, so you never miss out on the gentle wisdom and astrology guidance here at Zen Mind Peaceful Life. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to like and share it with your fellow Cancers who might be feeling the same waves. Alright, let's explore what June has in store for you, because your past is coming back. And it's time to face it with courage and calm. Have you ever had one of those moments when a sudden memory hits you like a wave, sweeping you off balance, pulling you back into a time you thought was long gone? For Cancer, these moments can be particularly intense, almost as if the universe itself is reaching out to remind you of something important hidden deep inside your heart. June, this year, is shaping up to be exactly that kind of month, a time when the past is not just knocking softly at your door but banging, demanding your attention. Cancer is ruled by the moon, a celestial body intimately connected to emotions, cycles, and memories. It's no wonder that when cosmic shifts happen, especially the kind stirring the moon's energy, Cancers feel their internal emotional tides rising higher than usual. But this is more than just mood swings or nostalgia. It's about your emotional foundation, the roots that anchor your sense of self, your home, and your family. Imagine walking through an old childhood home you haven't visited in years. Each creak in the floorboard, every familiar scent, triggers flashes of joy, pain, unresolved conflicts, or moments of pure innocence. That's what the planetary energies in June will feel like to Cancer: a sudden reopening of emotional rooms you had carefully locked away. This isn't random. June's sky is stirring key planetary movements that specifically target Cancer's fourth house, the house of home, family, and emotional security. These transits act like a cosmic magnifying glass, zooming in on buried feelings that you may have been avoiding or simply unaware of. Maybe it's an old argument with a sibling, an unresolved heartbreak from years ago, or even childhood wounds that you never fully acknowledged. The universe is handing you the key to revisit these memories, not to punish you, but to give you a chance to heal. Psychologically, this makes perfect sense. Our minds store emotional pain much like our bodies store physical trauma. When life sends stress your way, or when external forces like planetary shifts stir your emotional waters, these old wounds bubble to the surface, demanding your attention. It's the mind's way of asking, are you ready to face this now? Or will you keep running from it? One story that beautifully illustrates this is from a Cancer client I worked with last year. She called me in tears after receiving an unexpected message from an estranged family member. The message dredged up years of painful memories and family conflicts she had thought she'd left behind. Instead of running away from these feelings, she chose to lean into them with conscious awareness. Through journaling her feelings every morning and using gentle moon rituals to ground herself, she slowly transformed her emotional chaos into clarity. That painful message became the doorway to reconnecting with family on a new, healthier level. This process, facing the past instead of hiding from it, is what June asks of Cancer. But what makes it so tricky is Cancer's intense emotional nature. The moon, as the ruler of this sign, amplifies feelings of nostalgia, sentimentality, and sometimes overwhelming waves of emotion. It's not uncommon for a Cancer to find themselves unexpectedly crying over a photo, an old letter, or even a scent that reminds them of someone they once loved. These emotional surges can feel exhausting, leaving Cancer feeling vulnerable or lost. Here's the truth many Cancers don't realize: feeling deeply is your superpower, not a weakness. When your emotions feel amplified, it's your soul's way of telling you that something within you wants to be seen, understood, and healed. Ignoring these feelings may bring temporary relief, but it also keeps you stuck in cycles of pain and confusion. Navigating June means learning how to honor these emotions without being overwhelmed by them. One practical approach is to create what I call an emotional sanctuary, a physical or mental space where you allow yourself to feel fully but safely. This might be a cozy corner in your home with soft lighting, your favorite crystals, and a journal. When emotions rise, retreat to this sanctuary and simply observe what's coming up without judgment. Write down the thoughts and feelings, breathe deeply, and remind yourself that emotions are temporary waves, not permanent states. Relationships, especially for Cancer, are often the most sensitive area where the past shows up. June might bring old flames or unresolved family tensions knocking at your door once again. Perhaps you'll run into someone you thought you'd never see again, or a familiar pattern might reemerge in a current relationship. The emotional intensity can feel like a roller coaster, one moment nostalgic warmth, the next, painful confusion. I remember a story of a Cancer woman who, during a retrograde phase last June, reconnected unexpectedly with an ex-partner she hadn't spoken to in years. Instead of jumping straight back into old patterns, she used this opportunity to reflect deeply on why the relationship ended. She journaled her feelings, talked with close friends, and sought therapy to unpack unresolved emotions. By consciously choosing to face the past with curiosity instead of fear, she freed herself from repeating the same cycles. The reunion became less about reigniting old flames and more about reclaiming her emotional power. This kind of self-awareness and emotional resilience is key to surviving and thriving through June's challenges. It's not about avoiding the past but learning how to hold space for it without losing yourself. One practical tip I recommend is setting clear boundaries. You don't have to engage with every emotional trigger or rekindled connection. Ask yourself, is this relationship or memory serving my highest good right now? Or is it pulling me into pain and confusion? When in doubt, give yourself permission to step back. You may start noticing signs that your past is resurfacing, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. Perhaps you have vivid dreams of people or places from your childhood, or you experience strange synchronicities that remind you of old experiences. These aren't coincidences. The universe is speaking through symbols, nudging you to pay attention. Keeping a dream journal or simply noting these moments can help you decode what your subconscious is trying to tell you. Above all, the past's return this June isn't something to fear, it's an invitation. It's a powerful chance to finally heal the wounds that have shaped you, so you can move forward lighter and freer. Imagine shedding layers of emotional baggage and stepping into a renewed sense of self. That's the promise hidden in this cosmic storm. Stay with me, because in the next part of this video, we'll explore how to build the emotional resilience Cancer needs to not just survive but thrive through this journey, and I'll share spiritual tools you can use to transform June's intense energies into lasting peace. There's a mysterious force in the cosmos that can feel like a shadow looming over our emotional landscape, and for Cancer, that force is often Pluto. Known as the planet of transformation, power, and sometimes destruction, Pluto's influence is not for the faint of heart. When Pluto stirs your chart, especially in sensitive months like June, it invites you to dive into your deepest fears and hidden parts of your psyche that you might have avoided for years. It's as if Pluto reaches into the locked closets of your mind and demands you open the door, face what's inside, and decide what to keep and what to let go. For a Cancer, this can be terrifying and yet incredibly liberating. Pluto's energy pushes you to shed old emotional skins that no longer serve your growth. It's a cosmic purge that clears away emotional clutter, but often in a way that feels intense, even painful. The beauty of this process is that true transformation always requires some discomfort, but it's also a pathway to rebirth. One woman I worked with shared how during a Pluto transit, she was forced to confront long-suppressed childhood trauma. At first, the emotions overwhelmed her, but by leaning into therapy and deep self-reflection, she began to reclaim parts of herself that had been buried for decades. Her journey was messy but ultimately healing, showing the immense power of Pluto's transformative energy. This theme of transformation ties closely with the idea of emotional resilience. It's not just about surviving the storm but learning how to dance in the rain. Emotional resilience means developing the inner strength to face your past without being defined by it. For Cancer, who naturally gravitates towards protection and retreat, this can be challenging. However, cultivating resilience is like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger you become. Daily mindfulness exercises, grounding techniques like deep breathing or walking barefoot on the earth, and even small acts of self-kindness build this resilience over time. One simple practice is the pause and breathe method. When emotions start to overwhelm, take a moment to breathe deeply, feel your feet on the ground, and remind yourself that the storm will pass. This anchors your nervous system and prevents emotional overwhelm. This month, as your past returns to your present, listen carefully to the signals your body and mind send. The mind is a storyteller, often replaying old narratives that shape your beliefs about yourself and the world. But you hold the pen to rewrite those stories. Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Write freely about what surfaces, without judgment. You might be surprised how writing creates space between you and your emotions, allowing clarity to emerge. One Cancer I know started writing morning pages every day, a practice popularized by Julia Cameron, and found it helped her release pent-up fears and uncover hidden desires she'd neglected. Journaling acts as a mirror, reflecting your inner world back to you and offering insights that therapy or meditation alone might miss. It's also essential to recognize when it's time to protect your emotional boundaries. Past issues may resurface not just in your mind but through interactions with others, family members, old friends, or even acquaintances who stir unresolved feelings. You don't have to dive into every conversation or relationship that triggers pain. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of self-respect. It might mean politely declining to engage in a heated family discussion or taking a break from social media if old memories flood in. Boundaries are the emotional fences that keep your energy safe, allowing you to engage with the past on your terms. When you feel drawn into an emotionally charged situation, pause and ask yourself if engaging will nurture your growth or pull you back into pain. If the answer is the latter, it's okay to step away. This leads naturally to another intriguing aspect of June's astrological landscape, the subtle but powerful signs that your past is resurfacing. These signs aren't always obvious. Sometimes they appear in dreams, where people or places from your childhood show up with vivid clarity. Other times, they come as synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. Perhaps you keep hearing a song from your teenage years or run into someone unexpectedly who brings back a flood of memories. Paying attention to these signs can be like receiving messages from your subconscious or the universe, guiding you to areas that need healing. Keeping a dream journal or a signs notebook can help you track these experiences and uncover patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. A friend once told me that during a challenging June, she dreamt repeatedly about her childhood home, which she hadn't visited in years. That dream nudged her to reconnect with unresolved feelings about her upbringing, sparking a healing journey she hadn't anticipated. Amid all these swirling emotions and memories, it's crucial to remember that the return of your past is not an enemy but a teacher. The more you resist, the more power it holds over you. When you meet these feelings with curiosity rather than fear, you transform from a victim of your past into an active creator of your future. This shift in mindset is what differentiates those who survive June's emotional tides from those who feel swept away by them. The promise hidden in this cosmic stirring is one of renewal. Imagine standing at the shore after a storm, feeling the calmness of the sea returning. Your past has come to visit. But it doesn't have to stay forever. By welcoming it with open arms and a compassionate heart, you invite healing, clarity, and peace. The emotional intensity of June becomes not a burden but a bridge, connecting you to a deeper understanding of yourself and paving the way to a more peaceful, empowered life. Stay with me, because coming up next, we'll explore the spiritual and practical tools that can help you not only weather this emotional storm but emerge stronger, wiser, and more in tune with your true self. As June unfolds, the energy surrounding Cancer becomes increasingly charged with emotional complexity, inviting a deeper exploration of how the mind and heart communicate in moments of vulnerability. One of the most profound forces at work during this time is the powerful connection between Cancer and its ruling planet, the Moon. The Moon governs not only emotions but also rhythms, cycles, and deep unconscious memories, which means that Cancer is often caught in a dance between what's visible on the surface and what lies beneath. The Moon's influence amplifies nostalgia and a longing for safety, especially during periods of cosmic upheaval. This heightened sensitivity can make old wounds feel raw again, and memories from long ago suddenly seem as vivid as if they happened yesterday. For many Cancers, this month could feel like a roller coaster of feelings, waves of warmth and comfort crashing into sharp pangs of loneliness or regret. The important thing to remember here is that these feelings are not just random. They are deeply connected to your internal narrative and what you've carried emotionally over the years. Navigating this emotional turbulence requires a gentle balance between allowing yourself to feel deeply and knowing when to protect your heart. It's a tricky tightrope, but essential for emotional health. Creating rituals aligned with the Moon's phases, like setting intentions during a new moon or releasing what no longer serves you during a full moon, can help anchor your emotions in a healthy rhythm. These rituals might seem simple, but they work as powerful tools to help you process and release emotional energy instead of bottling it up. Another layer to this emotional landscape is how relationships, especially old ones, can re-emerge during June. The cosmos has a curious way of stirring up connections that you thought were settled, whether with former lovers, family members, or close friends. These resurgences aren't meant to confuse or torment you, rather, they offer a unique chance to revisit unresolved feelings or conversations that were left hanging. For instance, one Cancer friend found herself unexpectedly crossing paths with an ex-partner at a mutual friends gathering. Instead of immediately getting swept up in old patterns, she chose to approach the interaction mindfully, using it as an opportunity to set new emotional boundaries and clarify what she truly needed moving forward. Such moments require immense self-awareness. When you encounter someone from your past who brings up old wounds, it's vital to check in with yourself. Are you responding from a place of growth and calm, or are you being pulled into reactive patterns? Taking time to pause and reflect before engaging can prevent reopening emotional scars unnecessarily. One practical strategy is to practice grounding techniques in these moments: deep breathing, feeling your feet on the floor, or even stepping outside for fresh air, to keep your nervous system regulated. The return of the past also demands a kind of self-compassion that many Cancers may struggle to give themselves. Because Cancer is naturally empathetic and nurturing, it's common to extend kindness to others while neglecting your own emotional needs. However, June asks you to flip this dynamic, encouraging you to turn that loving energy inward. When old emotions rise, try to greet them with a gentle curiosity instead of harsh judgment. Imagine speaking to yourself as you would a dear friend who's hurting, offering reassurance and understanding rather than criticism. Building this habit can be life-changing. One woman shared how, during a tough period of emotional recall, she started a nightly ritual of writing affirmations and kind notes to herself. Over time, this practice rewired her inner dialogue from self-doubt to self-love, making it easier to face painful memories without being overwhelmed by shame or guilt. Self-compassion becomes a powerful shield that softens the impact of past wounds, allowing you to engage with your emotions in a more balanced way. All this emotional work also highlights the importance of recognizing subtle signals that your past is making its presence known. These signs might come through dreams that feel unusually vivid or symbolic. You may suddenly find yourself humming an old tune or revisiting places that hold memories. These experiences serve as gentle reminders from your subconscious to pay attention. Keeping a dream or reflection journal can be incredibly useful for decoding these messages and uncovering hidden emotional layers. Sometimes, the universe sends these reminders through synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that catch your attention. Maybe you see repeated numbers, run into an old friend, or find objects that trigger forgotten memories. When you notice these signs, it's worth pausing to reflect on what emotions or stories they are bringing to the surface. This awareness helps transform random moments into valuable opportunities for healing and growth. Through all of this, it's essential to approach your emotional journey with patience. The past's return is not a race to be finished quickly but a process to be embraced slowly and mindfully. Healing takes time, and it's okay to take breaks, ask for support, or seek professional guidance if needed. There's immense strength in knowing when to reach out. Ultimately, the experience of seeing your past come alive during June offers a profound invitation to transformation. You're not being asked to relive old pain endlessly but to acknowledge it. Learn from it and release it when you're ready. This journey leads to a lighter, more peaceful state of being where your emotions serve as teachers rather than chains. Your story, with all its ups and downs, is part of your unique power, shaping you into someone who can love deeply, protect wisely, and live fully. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we'll dive into practical ways you can cultivate this balance and step forward with confidence and calm. No matter what emotions June brings your way. As we continue to navigate the emotional tides that June is bringing, it's important to recognize that this month isn't just about facing old wounds, it's about the power of reflection and how you can transform those moments into real healing. When your past resurfaces, the invitation is to pause and look inward, to use the energy for deep personal insight rather than avoidance or fear. Reflection is one of the most underrated tools in emotional growth. Often, when old memories flood back, the instinct is to push them aside or distract ourselves. But what if, instead, you allowed yourself the space to sit with those feelings? To ask gentle questions like, what is this memory teaching me? How does this feeling connect to my current life? This kind of mindful inquiry can open doors to understanding patterns that have unconsciously influenced your decisions. Relationships and self-worth. Take the story of a cancer friend who found herself overwhelmed by resurfacing feelings related to childhood neglect. Instead of running from the pain, she started a daily practice of self-reflective meditation. Each morning, she would spend 10 minutes asking herself what part of her emotional past was ready to be acknowledged and healed. Slowly, the fog began to clear, and she noticed how many of her adult relationship struggles traced back to those early experiences. This awareness didn't fix everything overnight, but it gave her the power to make different choices moving forward, choices rooted in self-love and awareness instead of old fears. One practical way to integrate this kind of reflection into your life is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings as they arise helps shift them from swirling chaos into something tangible and manageable. When you write without censoring, you invite clarity and new perspectives. Try to set aside a few quiet moments each day this June to let your emotions flow onto the page. You don't need a fancy journal or special pen, just a willingness to be honest with yourself. Alongside reflection, another major theme this month is the delicate balance Cancer needs to strike between emotional openness and self-protection. This is where setting healthy boundaries becomes a form of self-care. When old family tensions or past relationship dynamics come back into your life, it's natural to want to fix everything at once or to avoid conflict altogether. But neither extreme serves your well-being. Instead, learning to say no without guilt or explaining your limits calmly can be revolutionary. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out, They are fences that protect your energy so you can engage more authentically and compassionately when you're ready. One Cancer I know struggled for years to say no to family demands, always putting their needs first. This June, with the past stirring up old patterns, she decided to practice setting small boundaries. A phone call ended early, skipping a family event that felt draining, and noticed how much lighter and more centered she felt. Boundaries gave her the emotional space to heal and to show up fully in the relationships that mattered most. It's important to remember that boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself from others, they're also about protecting your relationship with yourself. When you honor your limits and listen to your emotional needs, you build a foundation of trust within. This inner trust helps you face whatever the past brings with confidence and calm. Finally, as the emotional waves of June start to settle, the true gift lies in the positive outcomes that can emerge. Surviving this intense time means more than just enduring, it means transforming. When you face your past honestly and with compassion, you open the door to emotional freedom. This freedom isn't about forgetting or dismissing your history, it's about integrating those experiences into your story in a way that empowers rather than limits you. Many Cancers who have gone through similar cosmic cycles describe feeling a renewed sense of self after the storm. Old fears that once held them back lose their grip, and they find a deeper connection to their intuition and emotional wisdom. They become more adept at recognizing what nurtures their soul and what drains it, making choices that align with their highest good. This is the promise June holds, a path from emotional overwhelm to emotional mastery. As you reflect on what June has brought to your heart and mind, take a moment to appreciate the courage it takes to face the past. Whether you experienced waves of sadness, moments of clarity, or unexpected reunions, every step you took was a step toward your growth. Before we close, I want to remind you that this journey isn't meant to be traveled alone. If this video helped you feel seen or offered tools you can use, please support Zen Mind Peaceful Life by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell. Your likes and shares help us grow this community of peaceful souls seeking truth and healing. And don't hesitate to share your experiences or questions in the comments below. Your story might be the light someone else needs to hear. Remember, the past may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. You hold the power to greet it with compassion, learn from it, and step into a future defined by peace and self-love. June is your cosmic invitation. Will you accept it? Thank you so much for watching. Stay gentle with yourself, keep shining your light, and I'll see you in the next video.